Hey everybody, how are we doing today? As always, my name is Chris,
I'm Justin.
and I know you can't see our ugly faces today, but we're going to do a part series.
Hi, everybody.
We're going to be assembling an AR10 Lower. To kind of show you guys the parts we're working with here, we have here a Aero Precision Stag Arms AR10 Lower stripped. We have a Ergo ambidextrous grip here we're going to be installing today. We have a Trigger Tech Diamond straight trigger. It's a 1.5 to 4.5 pound pull. Yes, we did confirm that the AR-15 trigger does cross over to the AR-10 platform.
What we're not installing today, what we have for this is an Odinworks AR10 adjustable buffer.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if you haven't checked out Odinworks or Trigger Tech or any of the brands that you hear us talking about, they're amazing.
Yep, we're doing this as a consulting build right now, and we're going to be taking it out in the field and testing it. So stick around with us, and we'll all go on this journey together. So Justin, let's kind of go through the first part that we're going to assemble, which is the mag release, and how that kind of works out. So we have here, now this is a left-handed configuration, just so everybody knows. So what
we want to start with mag release?
We want to start with mag release, yes, sir.
All right, so pop that out of the vise there. Yep. I'm going to show everybody each of the parts that they're going to need in my hand here. So you have, this is your bolt release.
Yep.
You need your screw, a spring, a detent, and then the bolt release itself. That goes in. That actually goes in right after your mag release does. Your mag release is much more simple. So those are going to go right there where we can get to them. Our mag release is
those three pieces.
These three pieces.
And these all come in, just get yourself either an AR-15 or an AR-10, whichever one you're working with. You're just getting a lower parts kit. And they're going to come with all of these fancy little springs. They usually come with some extra ones. Now what we're doing here is Justin has inserted the piece, the spring. It's inserted here. Now this is the part that gets a little weird because you have to actually screw this part together. And it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. So what Justin's going to do is he's going to push that all the way through here.
You're going to hold that button in once you get it through. And then you got to spin.
So you cannot spin anymore. See, it's going to start rubbing here a little bit. We're going to try and get one more. Nope, I don't think we're going to get that other rotation.
I can get it.
So you got that one extra rotation, and then he's going to...
I'm going to get two.
You're going to get two. Okay, here.
And so you'll actually feel this tighten up. And when you do that, you can see that the button's kind of depressed more than the edge end. You actually got to push that into the hole to get those last couple rotations. And then you line it up and you put that in. And then
we have a 10-round box mag here. We're going to make sure that
I highly recommend buying a mag
to test
this, to make sure that it's
steel one. If the steel one will release, then the Pro Mags will release.
Yep. But you want to make sure it holds it nice and tight in there and releases it properly.
Now we're going to move on to...
Now we're going to do that bolt release.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to see, but right in the middle there is a hole for the spring to go in. So we drop our spring in.
Drop our detent.
Drop our little detent, which all that really does is push up on this so that when there's not a mag in there, it's held down. When there is a mag in there, it pushes up the bolt catch so that it'll actually catch the bolt. But then, and this one's not so bad, take that little hole right there and turn it sideways so the folks can see while you do it. I didn't have the hole quite lined up.
You're good.
There we go.
Gotta make sure your holes are lined up. Release a little or push it. There you go.
There you go.
And then it's just a simple Allen key here. And then you're just gonna kind of start working it in there.
And these are a little bit tricky. It does take some finesse because it is small springs and small spaces you are working with on these. So you got to have some patience, some finesse. You never want to force something in, because then you either widen your hole,
or you cross thread or strip.
You cross thread, you strip, you widen your hole, or you even dent your lower or your upper. So, if you do that, things aren't going to sit right when you put everything together, and that's just going to cause a lot of problems down the road, even to the point where you may have to replace pieces.
And all we're doing right there is snug. We're not going to force it. We're not going to crank on it.
So it should spring like that. And then when mag one more time, because when the mag goes in, mag should push up. When that's your bolt release. And when we push down, it should snap back down. If it doesn't, you've done it wrong. I am sorry to say. Try again. Okay, so now we've kind of got this just to kind of hold things in place.
What we did before we started this is we took some gun oil and we oiled it up in here, because everything's dry. You want to make sure that you're actually oiling your parts for installing. We're using this Trigger Tech Diamond.
Let's get a little more oil on here.
A little bit more oil.
And you don't need a lot.
Just get a little bit of a
on there.
Little Q-tip here. Just make sure it's all nice and in there, and then kind of
spread it around, because you want everything to slide in nice. Yep. Okay, so first things first. So we got the mag release and the bolt release in. We're gonna then slide our drop-in trigger in.
There are 2 pins here, and you have locking pins. So what you need to do...
so we don't actually have the locking version. We just have the cotter pin version. So, you line your holes up. You take your pin. Again, don't force it. Just kind of
let it fall in.
Let it fall in. But you get 1 pin in, and then we actually have to move on to our safety.
And we are installing an ambidextrous safety that came with the lower parts kit that we purchased.
And so that end goes in.
This piece slips in, has a little bit of I recommend spending a little bit more money on a good lower parts
so this one comes in, and this one actually has a little raised up lip. Lines up in there. We had all the tools lined up for this. And then this one, there's a screw.
And again, we're just gonna... We're not gonna force it, so that's why we got to play with it a little bit. But like we said before, folks, do not force anything, because you will damage something.
Yep. So now that that's in, what we're gonna do is on the bottom here, you can see slot for detent pin. So we're going to take our detent pin.
We love our detent pins, don't we?
Drop that in. I think it's the wrong pin. No, sorry. That is not the wrong pin. I'm thinking about this wrong.
That's okay.
Grip. Detent pin or spring goes into grip, not into handle. But this is all before we put that second trigger pin in. Once you get your fire selector or safety in, drop your detent pin in, drop your grip on, because that detent is going to hold everything together. And then this has a bolt down in the middle there.
And this is where this gets kind of a little fun.
This gets tricky.
Actually, what we're going to do here, Justin, release.
Yep.
Release on the pin. This is actually probably the best way to do this, folks, that I've found in my experience.
You dropped your washer.
Yep, where'd it go?
So he's going to actually drop the bolt through the grip to where it'll thread in there. And then that, hold on, let me put that there.
I'll let you take it from there.
Line everything up. Okay, now he's going to tighten that bolt up. And that you want tight. Very tight. Not so tight that you're over threading or stripping. But this is your grip of your rifle. You don't want that loose.
And ultimately, this is going to turn into a 6.5 Creedmoor. So, yep, that's in there good and tight.
Yep. And now,
let's test we're going to do a quick safety check and a quick test of the trigger.
Safe. Oh, hold on. Final pin goes in. I'm not liking those pins, Chris. We might need to get some different ones.
It's okay. We can check out that.
But safe didn't work. Fire.
Oh, shit. Don't do that.
Nope, that wasn't.
Let's do a reset.
Lock. Release.
Always put your finger there, guys. Make sure you're not letting it smack because that's not good.
Nope, and then, you can see that.
Don't store it under tension either.
No, you really shouldn't store it under tension on there. But that is now fire selector, trigger, drop-in trigger, mag release, bolt release, all installed here. Now there's one other piece that we can do right now that I want to try and do real quick, and that is the front pin.
Now, let me grab the upper then.
No, we don't necessarily need the upper for this part. That's why I'm okay with doing it. Because the pin can be in there without the upper in there. It's not like the rear end pin. But so that has, another hole right there. Drop in spring, your detent pin, and then you have your lock pin. Don't put that on there yet. I got to get the pin started.
You're good. You're just checking.
Oh, yeah.
Making sure everything's lining up okay.
Got to push down on all of that. Now, what tool you use to push down on that doesn't really matter as long as you use something.
You get it in there. And that's going to happen a few times.
I don't know if any of you heard that, but I just shot the detent pin up into the ceiling, around the room, other way.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen numerous times. Yep. I think I've only ever done this once where I didn't shoot a detent pin.
Alrighty, so we got it in there finally. And now what we can do is you have this piece here that seats in.
Other way.
The other way. Oh, brain fart there. That seats in here, like that. And then you'll have this piece.
You don't need a...
You got to get a little rough with it. And then that is like that. And then there you have it. And then you have a set pin back here that goes in. But yeah, that's it. And then we'll be getting the buttstock on next, and then we'll be doing the BCG. So guys, stay tuned for this.
And the trigger guard.
And the trigger guard. So
that's the basics of a lower. And then we'll get into the rest of it and start the upper in a little while.
Okay. Y'all stay safe out there. Remember, never drink and drive.
Never mix your guns and your alcohol.
See you guys back here next time. Bye.